I don't have any jokes to start this video with, so instead I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to farm clips for TikTok and YouTube Shorts and say that Prey is undeniably a better film than the original Predator film.
Okay, bye.
So, Predator Badlands is the 9th feature film in the franchise. It is the 6th standalone installment, and it is already in 4 years the 3rd installment by director Dan Trachtenberg. Starting in 2016, he got his directorial debut with 10 Cloverfield Lane. He then has assumed control of the Predator franchise with 2022's Prey, and subsequent features coming out this year: Predator Killer of Killers, an animated anthology feature following 3 separate warrior classes as they attempt to kill a predator. Predator Badlands stars Elle Fanning in a dual role as robots Tessa and Tia, members of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, as well as Dimitrius Koloamatangi.
Jonas, Valos, you seen us? Is that it?
And he plays the Predator in this film, Deck. And he is very good at it. He has a clear understanding of action and set pieces, and also, surprisingly, a lot of humor that he brings to this role that isn't there in any of the previous Predator films. And it's a breath of fresh air that he brings, but it is also a breath of fresh air that is directed exceptionally well by Dan Trachtenberg. And what I want to highlight in this review is that I don't think that in 2025, there are a lot of visionaries who are able to take a franchise and are able to expand it and have a visionary process for that franchise that they are able to see through over a course of multiple years. Dan Trachtenberg is one of those guys. If we compare him with what is essentially the shepherd for the last 40 years of the Alien franchise, Ridley Scott, I never get the sense with Ridley Scott that he knows what he's going to be doing next year. I never get the sense that he knows what the next Alien project is going to be. He never knows what the actual trajectory of the Alien franchise is. He kind of just goes with the flow and does what he wants. In some sense, that is respectable, and we need those kind of chaotic elements. On the other hand, what I really like about Dan Trachtenberg is I could ask him, where do you think you're going to be in 10 years? Where do you think Predator is going to be in 10 years? And those two things are probably aligned. He clearly has a storyboard for what he wants the next 10 years of this franchise to be, and I have a deep respect for that. In just 4 short years, he has established himself as a true visionary within this industry, as someone who is able to take something and use it and develop it and expand it in terms of the culture, in terms of the language, in terms of the depth of story, the depth of weight that we see in these films. And I don't think that there's many people that are working right now in films who are capable of doing that. Even legendary directors. So take your Paul Thomas Andersons, take your Quentin Tarantinos. We don't see them as franchise figures, and that is deliberately because they are interested in making almost exclusively original material. But could you see them taking a franchise and going, okay, figure it out for the next 10 years? It doesn't really happen, and we don't have enough of these guys who are able to take over a franchise and just go, I'll revolutionize it, I'll do it, I'll show you how this is done. I think it's almost undeniable that Prey and Predator Badlands, if you eliminate Killer of Killers and just look at the live action features, that's a knockout punch, and he's already the main face to me of this Predator franchise other than the Predator itself. Schwarzenegger is kind of so long gone that it's not him anymore. And that's not to dig Schwarzenegger out. I just think that the series has come so far from him that it kind of symbolizes that this franchise has faltered and floundered for so long that even 10 years ago, people would have said, what do you think of when you think of the Predator? Oh, well, I think of the Predator and I think of Schwarzenegger. When I think of Predator, I go, what's Dan Trachtenberg going to do next? What's the next big thing? How's he going to expand it even further? He has brought me fully on board. He has given me a level of buy-in that I didn't really think was possible with franchises these days. Even with Alien, I like Alien Romulus, I like Alien Earth, but there is a significant chance that the next Alien film is just going to be absolute dog shit, because that is kind of what the Alien franchise does. That is kind of what Ridley Scott does, one good, one bad. You suck! And there is never anything consistent within the Alien franchise. And this, in turn, presents a breath of fresh air. It prevents like a balance in the Hollywood industry, essentially showing these studios, listen, find that guy who has a plan for this franchise, give him what he wants, obviously within reason, and just let him work, let him cook, don't give him too much oversight, and just see what he comes up with. Get someone who respects the franchise, get someone who is a fan maybe, and get someone with a vision, with ideas, with stories, with new characters, with ideas to expand this franchise. And this is what you can get. And lo and behold, this film had the biggest opening weekend of any Predator film.
Well, imagine my shock.
Surely that's a recipe and a formula that you would want to rinse and repeat. On to the actual film. This film follows a young predator who is essentially stranded on a death planet seeking a Kalisk in an attempt to prove himself to his Yautja clan. The Yautja are the given name of the predator class. I believe this is the first time that we've actually established the name of the species. Whilst on the planet, he encounters a broken Weyland-Yutani synthetic called Tia, who is seeking to get back to her sister Tessa, who is also a synthetic made by Weyland-Yutani. Now, this film sees a team up of the Predator and the synthetic as they attempt to take down the Kalisk. What I think is really pleasurable about Elle Fanning being in this film is that in dual roles, it is one, a cost-saving measure, but also it really challenges her as an actress to go above and beyond and go, you have to learn how to be two characters. What she does is present these characters as polar opposites, which obviously basic in the twin sphere, but she gives a sense of humor that I don't really think Elle Fanning has ever really portrayed on screen in Tia. And then in Tessa, there is a sense of coldness and brutality that I also don't think she's ever really portrayed. She's a very good actress. I really like her, but I'm not sure she's ever had roles like this. And I think it's better for her career that she explores genres like this. If there were any areas where I was going to critique this film, I think that some of the action can kind of be a bit hit and miss. You can't see some of what's going on. I think that is partly down to the fact that a lot of this is shot at night, and I think that also part of this is down to the fact that it is shot in a very close-up style. You kind of need is to broaden the scope and show us more of what's going on. And for some reason, the camera and Dan Trachtenberg seems very reluctant to do so. I also think there's a valid claim from Predator OG fans that this film kind of does the PlayStation God of War Last of Us thing, where you introduce a really cool character and then you go, what if they had a son? What if this cool, badass guy had a son and he had to get sad and real? There is a legitimate claim that is kind of what Trachtenberg is doing here, but what he seems to understand, in my opinion, is that he's not trying to rewrite this franchise. He's trying to increment on it. He's trying to build on it. The foundation of the Trachtenberg era is still that these are fun action films, and then we're going to add a bit of depth to it. We're going to explore the culture. We're going to show you more of the Yautja and what it means to be a predator. But ultimately, with this film, Trachtenberg really cements himself as one of the true Hollywood visionaries. I'm not saying that we should go out there and start giving him $300 million to make a one battle after another style film, but he kind of puts himself in that position of saying, I can turn a franchise around. I can make something out of nothing, and I can turn what was once dormant and what was once sort of floundering for like 30, 40 years and make it successful. And he has turned me into a Predator fan in a way that I was not previously. If you're going to rank the films, he undoubtedly has 2 in the top 3. And then on top of that, I think Prey is the best Predator film. I think Predator Badlands is the best film, but it's not the best Predator film. As I say, I do think that you kind of expand on what you're doing, and there is a lot more depth here, but that's not really what the Predator franchise originally was about. So with this film, Trachtenberg kind of rewrites what Predator is about slightly, and he expands it. Trachtenberg has to rewrite what it means to be a Predator film, and he is. He's already done it. He's doing it, and he's going to continue doing it. And I'm really excited for what the future of this franchise holds as long as Trachtenberg is at the helm.